the first step is the hardest step. It's always beginning is half done, folks. I mean, if you are willing to risk and begin, I mean, that's the toughest step to take.
It is.
And you were in music.
I was.
This guy was a hip hop artist. Okay, seriously. Toured. Was that 17 years you were doing that?
17 years full time. Yep.
Full time.
Yep.
Full time.
All over the country.
Better than Eminem.
The reason he says that, I was introduced as better than Eminem one time, and it's the worst thing that can happen to you.
You don't want to be set at a standard that's impossibly high right out of the gates, right? You know, there's nowhere to go from there, folks, but down.
It wasn't my best show, let's put it that way.
Anyways.
But I was a hip-hop artist. And with that, relating back to this concept, you know, touring for 17 years, you know, that doesn't just happen. It has to start with your first show, which is honestly absolutely terrifying and thrilling at the same time. We're all insecure people and to some extent, and I think a lot of times, especially those of us in the creative realm.
I saw this graph one time, okay? And my friend Kendall shared it with me. And we work on creative projects together. He's in graphic design. And there's these two circles. It showed these two circles. And you know where those circles met? And I can't remember what that's called, where the circles meet. It's like some form of diagram or whatever.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, it doesn't matter what it's called.
Right.
The fact was, it was, you know, complete narcissism and crippling self-deprecation, basically, right? And so where those two meet, that's where great art happens. And that's what we run into. I mean, you know, I tend to project a lot of confidence, but I mean, come on, folks. No, I mean, everybody goes through this. I mean, I have sat there at night and wondered, you know, is it any good? Or I've taken feedback on things I've done and just really taken it like, oh my gosh, I mean, really, that kind of sucks. Now, here's the thing. See this? This is a wire cutter. If I were selling wire cutters, because I worked in sales for years. I guess this is selling anyways, in a sense.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, if I went up to you, Michael, and said, hey, you want to buy this wire cutter?
No, I have no interest in your wire cutter. Why do I want your wire cutter?
All right, fine. He doesn't want my wire cutter. Big deal. It's a wire cutter, right? I mean, it's not me.
But if I come to you and I say, hey, look at my video, what do you think?
Oh, that sucks.
That hurts emotionally, right? That's personal.
It does, because, see, that's the problem with the creative process. You put your heart and soul into it. And there are some people who are just going to come along and criticize you. Folks, some people are just critics.
And we all have to deal with that. So it's hard. It's a hard lesson. I had to do it through music, but we have to learn to not take rejection so personally, and that gives us a lot of room to grow when we can start to approach it that way. Hey, it's kind of a numbers game. Every once in a while I'm gonna get rejected, but that's a part of the process. And again, like, we all deal with that. You're not alone.
It's math.
Okay? It is.
My son, I've got one of my kids. I remember he was you know, I take my photography and my books and I sell them at art shows. Now, one of the things that happens there is people tell you no. So my son, and my kids have been able to learn this at an early age, and it really served him well. He's like 10 years old, and he just had a terrible show. Like, everybody told him no. How can you tell a 10-year-old kid no that much, right? But they did. And so I had to have like this pep talk with him. And I said, all right, son, how many people do you think you need to talk to sell a book? I paid him straight commission, all right? I mean, I'm teaching him the great lessons of life. And he said, I don't know. I said, would you say on average it's 10? I mean, like, at least every 10 people you talk to. Anyways, we go through this whole process. Like, every 10th person, right, is going to say yes and so on. And basically, it amounted to a quarter. He would make a quarter every time he didn't have to have them say yes. He just had to talk to him.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
So then he goes out and he takes this new attitude. I said, so you just got to be like, hey, thanks for that quarter. In your mind, you don't have to tell him thanks for a quarter, but, you know, in your mind, thank you for that quarter.
I like that.
And so that's what he did.
Yeah. He
had the best show. He's a 10-year-old kid. His next show, we were driving to that when we were having this conversation, the best show he'd ever had. So
it's kind of a mental
hurdle
to jump over.
Folks, just understand this. Some people like country homes and some people like colonials, all right? you may have just given the colonial lover a country home.
And it can still hurt when they reject it. I've had where I've given out free projects to people and put a lot of effort into it, and it was decent work. And they didn't like it on the fact that the music was a different style.
It was phenomenal work. Phenomenal.
And all it was, hey, I don't like that genre of music that you put in the background. And that ruined it for them. So, and it was, again...
That happened on a project we did together, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, and I thought your first music choice was great, and I thought it was timed really well. Mm-hmm. He hated it.
That was actually, so this happened more than once. That was a separate one that I was thinking of. But, so it happens to us.
It happens.
and back to your point with, in the music world, like I did my own booking a lot of times. And the first time I would share my demo with someone and they said, we're not interested, that kills you. You just feel like, man, like, what am I doing? I put so much time. I put my blood, sweat, energy, my tears, my dreams into this, and nope, don't even want to consider it. And then you go through that a few times, and then you realize sometimes they're just busy. It's not always they just hate you and what you're all about. And eventually, like you're saying, it becomes a numbers game. And so a couple years into the process, I learned that, and rejection didn't hurt me anymore like your son. Yeah. And I just looked at that like your son, it was a quarter. So I just need to get to so many of these. And it's the same with anything in the creative world as well. Like, we just need to put ourselves out there, be vulnerable. Yep, it's hard sometimes, but there's a lot of reward in doing that as well. It's not all rejection. There's reward, and you can't get to that reward if you're not willing to deal with a little bit of the rejection that all of us creatives will go through.
Rejection is a part of this game, folks, and actually, mean comments are a part of this game, especially if you're going in the YouTube game.
Yep.
I mean, you're gonna get it.
Yep.
I mean, it's just going to come out. I mean, they're just going to be like, basically telling you suck, okay? And, you got to be able to get past that. And I think, but again, it's that fear of that keeps people from taking the first step.
Yep.
But if you've got a story to tell, if you've got a song to sing, if you've got something on your heart, get it out there.
Yeah, we want to encourage you to take that first step. In my life, anything I really value, it was almost all of it was birthed out of being willing to step out of my comfort zone. Anything of value that I look back on in my life.
Oh yeah.
Not just with video and music. I'm saying like anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah. No. It's like if people said your comfort zone is your failure zone. That's really true. I mean, if you're gonna constantly just stick, you need this comfort, and if you're not willing to stretch yourself, I mean, forget it. Okay, it's not gonna work for you. Okay. Right. Take the first step, folks.
Here's a good first step.
Yeah.
If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel.
Yeah. That's solid. Yeah. Subscribe. That's very good. See, look at that. See? Affirmation. Anyways, please do subscribe. We're gonna cover some more subjects like this. In addition, we're gonna do some gear reviews. We're going to be doing stories of specific photos that, really turned out great. And then we're going to be talking also editing tips.
Yeah.
Please subscribe to the channel. Like this video. It helps with the algorithms. And share it around if you like the content. Thanks for listening.